Hello there, everybody. Just a little bit of a random one now. Please tell me if you can hear me because the mic was messing up there. That's why I'm a little bit late. 1 second. Let me just check this audio here on my. 1 second. Let me just check this audio. Yeah, that seems all good. Okay, sorry if I'm looking away from the camera, guys. I just have to check the audio is okay because StreamYard for some reason, I don't know. It wants to let the mic work when it wants, so I have to go into a new browser and then it suddenly started working. So yeah, I hope everyone's okay. I probably should have made a banner for this saying, God. Really, hang on. One sorry. Create a banner. I'm just going to say link to mic below. Sorry about this, guys. I really should have sorted this straight away there. Right. So, link to the mic is in the description. If you guys want to join, come along and talk to me about horror movies, please do feel free. It'd be great to chat to some people, especially you don't have to have a YouTube channel or anything. You want to come along, talk some horror, please do. Yeah, so this is just a little bit of a random live stream here. I decided to do this morning because I've really wanted to do some live streams over here on the channel. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I haven't done one for a while. I had this internet booster, and I'm in the new movie room now, which is in the attic, really, but I've done it all up. Looks nice. I'm going to be decorating it more. But I bought this internet booster a while ago and it worked for a bit and then it just hasn't worked at all. I could not get it working for the life of me, but I finally got it working now. So I thought, okay, the internet should have good signal up here now. So hopefully it all goes well. That's a reason I haven't done any live streams on this horror channel for a while. I'd done a practice run on my other channel the other day and it worked. And yeah, I just felt like coming on to talk about some movies really. Now, please feel free to to get your comments in. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. Yeah, please feel free to get any horror related comments in. And guys, if you want to come and talk to me on the live stream, please feel free. I've got one person who said they might come along a little bit later on. So yeah, that'd be great. So really just want to talk about a couple of movies I've been watching lately, horror related. I bought this the other day, The Night Train Murders, a video nasty. I'd never seen this before, but funny little story actually. The people, the customs came to our school once when I was in senior school, and they said that this guy used to sell VHS tapes behind this market stall, but they were disguised as like blockbuster movies. So maybe Toy Story or something at the time. I don't know what it was. And really, the people who wanted video nasties, they would be disguised in these cases. So they'd think they were buying, so they would really, it looked like they were buying Toy Story or I don't know what else was out at the time, The Lion King, whatever. And really, it was a video nasty in there. And that's how they sort of sold these video nasties. And someone said, what was the name of this movie that you seized? Because the woman said, we seized a movie that will never, ever, ever be released by the BBFC in this country, ever. It's too vile of a movie. And someone asked what the name of the movie was. And it was actually this one. I'll just show you the cover here. It was, she said the name of it was El Ultimo Trend della Notte. I always remember that name because I was like, I haven't heard of that movie. Now, this is the Italian name for this film, I believe. And I just think that's so funny, the way she said it will never, ever, ever get released here in the UK. And here it is, you know, on full 4K, fully uncut, pristine picture and everything, owning in my collection now. So yeah, she's talking a bit of shit there, wasn't she? But I suppose you weren't meant to know at the time. I just think it's funny with these video nasties now. They seem pretty tame to stuff like Terrifier. And some of the other stuff that comes out these days, like Art the Clown, wouldn't have seen the light of day, would he, in the 80s? Let's be honest. And yeah, I've also been watching this Species collection box set. Now, I have seen the first two before. Watched the first one a few times as a kid. And then me and my mate Jamie, who might be coming along later, I don't know. So we watched Species 2 once on this like box office thing that he had shipped where you could pay for movies. And I remember it being okay at the time. It was nowhere near as good as the first. And that was the case this time. I don't think Species 2 was anywhere near as good as the first. It's a pretty boring movie, to be honest. And Natasha Henstridge doesn't really have anything to do in it. But then I watched Species 3 and 4, and I had heard the worst things about these films. Species 3 weren't as bad as I thought it was going to be, in all honesty. It had an okay little story attached to it. It tried to do way too much, and it was on for like 2 hours, which is way too long for a movie like this. And then I watched Species 4 the other night. I'll just show you the covers really quick. They just look like, the biggest low budget movies you could ever think of, don't they? Right there, especially this one. Species 3 was watchable. Species 4 was okay until the last half an hour, and then it went straight to silly territory. So yeah, I finally completed the Species box set now. I would say that is more enjoyable than the Anaconda box set. The first two Anaconda movies are great. 3 and 4 are two of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. So it looks like I've got a guest coming along here right now. Let me just see who it is. Yes, it's Paul Tams. I'll just bring him in. There he is.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can, mate. 1 second. I can. Just speak again, Paul.
Can you hear me?
I can. It's a little bit low, though, but I can hear you.
I wonder if it's me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, yeah. How about now?
Yeah, I think it just kind of sounds the same, mate, but I can hear
you. Yeah?
Yeah, you're all good.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
How are you, mate?
That's fine. Yeah, I'm very good, man. Thank you for bringing me on. It was a last-minute thing, but we haven't hung out for a while.
Yeah, I know. I know you've had YouTube in the past, haven't you? But I kind of miss your channel, to be honest. But
I know.
Like I said,
so do I miss doing it.
Yeah. Well, like I said, anyone who wants to come on, you don't have to have a YouTube channel. If you want to come on, you can come on. But Paul, I know one new horror movie that you've been watching, but any horror movies that you've been watching lately that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so it's quite weird, like, because there's been quite a few I've missed at the cinema. The last few months, so I've literally this last week just been catching up with stuff that I missed. So, Final Destination Bloodlines was one, which I loved.
Yeah,
such a fun movie. I'm kicking myself I didn't go to the cinema to watch it because I didn't really like the last. In fact, I can't even really remember the last two. The last one I've got a real sort of vivid memory of is the theme part one. Is that the third one?
Yeah.
Final Destination 3. So with this one, even though it was coming out to like pretty good reviews, I was like, I don't know if I'm feeling a new Final Destination. Kicking myself, didn't go watch it. A fun ass horror film. Loved it.
Yeah. It was like, until the other day, it was my number one horror movie of the year, to be honest. I don't know why I weren't expecting it to be that good, because I like all the movies that came before it, even the fourth one that people don't like. Although it is the weakest. But yeah, it really surprised me, like, because it went down a little bit of a different path with the whole bloodline family thing, didn't it? And I loved all that. And tell you what, man, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but what the perfect send-off for Tony Todd, because I've always been a little bit confused with his character, and they give him full circle here and give him a great ending to his story, I think. And it makes you understand the character throughout the rest of the other movies now.
His sort of like cameo in it was great, and just his little line of dialogue he has to sort of send himself off. As I was watching, I was just like, oh man. It's great. It was great to see him. Great little cameo. All the kills in it. I love this thing the Final Destinations movies do. And granted, I wanted to revisit them all before this one and never got round to it. But I just love that giddiness it gives you as you're just watching everything just go wrong, and you're just laughing along with it at the most all these consequences that are happening in it. You're just like, I can see where this is going, but they always do a good job of where you think it's going to go. It keeps building on top of it.
Yeah.
You're just oh my God.
Like go on, sorry. I was just going to say,
I really enjoyed it.
It was like that garden scene at the start of it. You didn't know what was going to happen there.
Because you were like, the trampoline, and then I was like, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, do you know what my favourite kills in that was? Like, a lot of people are saying the MRI machine and stuff, but do you know the bit, it was the build up to the truck, the garbage truck. Yeah. Like, she said what might happen, and then it happens in the background. And I was like, that is genius. I love that.
I think I laughed out loud when what happened.
Yeah.
I literally laughed out loud. But yeah, I thought it was a great film. It's just entertaining from start to finish.
Yeah.
I caught up on Until Dawn.
I seen your review for that, yeah.
Yeah, which, you know what? All right. Again, I went into it thinking, I'm going to hate this film, horror video games to movies, just video game to movies, you get one decent one here and there. So I was like, this is going to be terrible. And to be fair, I've not played the video game since it released in 2014 or 2015. I think it was one of the first games I got on the PS4. And I remember completing it in one sitting because it's not a very long game. I think I had like a day off and I literally just played through the whole thing in like 7 or 8 hours. But I couldn't remember a lot of it. I could remember little bits of it. So when I was watching it, it wasn't a case of I was, comparing it to the game. There was things that was happening in it. I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember that from the game. I remember this from the game. Even though you don't need to have played the game to have watched this film.
Have I played the game?
No, say you don't really need to have played the game, do you?
Yeah. I haven't
the
played the game. I actually own the game, but I haven't played it. But yeah, I kind of got everything that was going on. I don't know if there was any little subtle nods to the game. I know Peter Storm is in the game, isn't he? But I don't know if there was too many subtle nods, was there?
There was a couple. There's a more towards the end. There was some sprinkled throughout, but there was a few little threads towards the last 5 or 10 minutes that sort of tied back into the game that I remembered, which I thought was quite cool. But yeah, I enjoy it. It's getting not that very good reviews, but I had a good time of it. I watched it Sunday afternoon. The weather wasn't great, didn't have much going on. Just closed the curtains, got some food, and just stuck it on. And I was like, it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah. Yeah. I was a little bit disappointed by it, but I try not to watch too many trailers now going into movies unless, I don't know, it depends on the movie. But my wife wanted to watch this trailer because I said, do you want to go and see it Until Dawn? And then I seen about 30 seconds of the trailer, went, that's enough for me. That looks really good. Yeah, I'm in. I love the whole look of it and everything. The little house that you went to and everything. And I think it showed a little bit of that slasher killer that was going around killing them. And I thought that was one of the best parts of the movie, actually. But I don't know. I feel like it was just trying to do a few too many things in the third act and stuff. But it's a watchable movie. But I didn't love it. I thought the girl out of Hellraiser, the remake was all right in it. Yeah. But yeah, I thought it was okay. Yeah, nothing special.
It's a one-time watch.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. I've actually got the game on PS4 and PS5. And I've never played it.
So I have just re-downloaded it as soon as the film finished. Well, on the evening, I think it was on PS Plus. I thought I had it, but I didn't. It was on PS Plus. I thought I'm going to re-download that and have it a go. Have a replay of it because to see if, just because there's things that happen towards the end of the movie that I'm 90% sure tie into the game, and I want to see if it does somehow.
Yeah. Have you seen Sinners?
Yeah, adored Sinners. Absolutely adored that film.
Yeah, I think now I remember you posted on Letterboxd. I've got Final Destination above it and 28 Years Later, but I did like it. I would really like to rewatch it. I don't know about you, Paul, but in my cinema, I think I asked you this and you said it was fine. I was getting a little bit confused with the dialogue at times. Like I was like, what are they saying? Like I kind of needed the subtitles at times. So I'd really like to rewatch this on 4K. I've heard a lot of people say they had no problem with that, but I don't know. It was just my cinema screen. Was that a problem for you?
No, I mean, I went to watch. Did you watch it in IMAX or just regular screening?
I went to iSense, which is sort of like IMAX.
Yeah. So that's like the Odeon version, isn't it? I went to watch it. And I didn't really have any problems with it. It was that sort of like old. What's the word I'm looking for? Like the language and the way they spoke fit in with where they were. It's like Mississippi.
Yeah,
sort of lingo,
like the Southern American.
So it did have that, but I felt okay with what was going on in it. I'd probably say my only criticism that I had with that film was, if I can remember what I put in my review, I think it slight spoilers if you haven't seen it. It does do that sort of Dusk Till Dawn thing where it literally just switches from one genre to another. But then, like all the characters, a few characters were just like, "Oh, what is it?" And they're like, "Oh, they're vampires." I was like, "What? You just like know they're vampires?" Like, it was just like, for some reason, it just felt a bit off for me. When the characters were just like, "Oh, they're vampires. We now need to go and fight them." There was no, they didn't seem like terrified that there's fucking vampires.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was my only
like,
sort of
like it was a normal everyday thing, sort of.
Yeah, like they've done it before. Well, they might have have heard that like sort of the end of Lost Boys, where like the granddad always known they were there.
Yeah,
it might be a sort of something like that. But that was my one thing. It was just like it was just like the characters, like all of a sudden, were just like, oh, they're vampires. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I could have done a bit more. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic cinema experience. I mean, even though it did feel like Dusk Till Dawn, it just felt like a nice, original, new horror film. I'm glad it did well because it made a shit ton of money. I've got the 4K Steelbook pre-ordered. Looking forward to seeing that because I've heard that they reincorporate into the 4K the IMAX enhanced scenes, which it annoys me when there's a film that's made for IMAX and they don't do that. I'm looking at you, Dune. That really annoyed me. They didn't have the IMAX enhanced scenes on the 4K. But yeah, I think it drops on disc sort of like mid to end July, so it's only a few weeks to wait. So I'm looking forward to a rewatch. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to rewatching it myself. I think that's my biggest problem with it, is it just felt too familiar from Dusk Till Dawn for me.
Right,
but all the characters were like, even like the A-Force 9th build character was like really interesting. Like there was personality in every character, and it was just, I loved everyone in the movie, really. Just quickly, like, this is so annoying now how you have to do this on what you call it? What's it called? StreamYard. Yeah. All right, Keith, thanks for coming along, mate. I hope you're well. Cheers, mate. So I want to get on to 28 years later in a minute, if you don't mind, Paul. But
that's fine, yeah.
Just before that, you've been on a bit of a zombie kick, didn't you?
yeah. You know what I'm like.
Yeah, you go all in, mate. You go all in. I love that. So what do you watch? Night of the Living Dead, Dawn, Day?
Yeah, all the Romero. It started because it was like, right, I want to get myself in the mood for 28 years later. And it was like 2 weeks before it come out, and I thought to myself, I'm going to watch 28 Days and Weeks a bit more closer to the time. So I want something familiar to sort of time me over. So I just randomly watched the original Night of the Living Dead, and then I went, may as well carry on. So I watched Dawn of the Dead, and then I watched Day of the Dead, then I watched Land of the Dead, then I watched World War Z, then I watched Zombieland, which I hadn't seen for a while. I was just going down this rabbit hole, and I do it all the time. I always like joke with my friends and that. Like, I don't know, it's like sort of this weird illness I have that I will get excited for something, and then I'll absorb everything in the genre, or even go like reading books and watching documentaries on YouTube and stuff, just to keep me in the headspace for when the new film comes out or whatnot. So yeah, I've started playing Resident Evil again.
I love the way when you went to watch Dune 2, man, you just like read all the books. And that live scene you done with Ellis, man, that was like epic. Like I was like, he knows everything about this, and he only like started
he read
the
it
book
like
about 2 weeks ago. I need to rewatch Night of the Living Dead again. It's been so long since I see. Like, I've actually got a movies to rewatch list on me Letterboxd, and that's like near the top. I've wanted to rewatch it for so long.
The original?
Yeah, the original. Yeah, because I've got the Criterion and everything there. I actually won it in the competition years ago. But just I remember the movie, but it's like, you know, where certain bits are just like you just need a full rewatch, and it all comes back to you, I think. But yeah, I've always really enjoyed that movie when I watched it. But Dawn's my favorite. Absolutely love that. Day of the Dead's amazing as well. I wouldn't argue with anyone who said Day of the Dead was better.
I've said the exact same thing. And in my head, I know Dawn's my favorite, but every time I rewatch Day of the Dead, I'm like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Because I think with Day of the Dead compared to Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead more feels like 80s horror movies that I grew up with. It has that sort of 80s horror flavor to it, even like the score, the music in it, the practical effects, the zombie makeup is chef's kiss. Tom Savini firing on all cylinders with his sort of practical effects in that film. It still holds up. There's some stuff in it, of course, looks slightly dated. It is an older film, but some of it still looks amazing, and you can see where newer zombie sort of genre, you know, properties have took influence from it, especially The Walking Dead. But yeah, the original Night of the Living Dead is probably the one I've seen the least out of all of them. But every time I rewatch it, it's one of them films you have to watch knowing it's a dated film, knowing it's a low budget film. And, you know, you can put yourself in the mindset of, you know, once you know that, and you can play along with the film with that. It's such a tight film, like a tight scripted film. It's just no messing around. I think it's like just over 90 minutes, and it's non-stop for 90 minutes. And I even watched the 1990 remake as well during my little zombie outburst, the Tom Savini directed one, and that's underrated. That film, I think.
I've never actually seen that one.
Dude, seriously.
I've heard great things about it.
It would make it, if you had enough time in an evening, because they're both 90 minutes long. If you double build them, I think it would make a nice double build just to see. And you know what? It's one of them remakes that, you know, if you look at, say, like the Psycho remake, where it feels like shot for shot the original, and people go, what's the point? This sort of does it as well, but I feel like it's the movie George Romero, because he signed off on this film. I think he produced it, and I think he even updated his own screenplay for the movie and changed little things to bring it a little bit more up to date. And it's I don't know where I was going with that then.
Yeah, you were saying like it feels different shot to shot. Like
Psycho. So it feels like you're basically watching the same film again, but just little subtle changes that makes it, I think, better. That's probably sacrilege to Night of the Living Dead purists, but because of just my age and sort of films I grew up with, I do get a better time out of the remake, because it just feels a little bit more modern.
Yeah, I got a Horror Channel. I should have watched that by now, I suppose. Do you know what else I haven't seen? I watched like 10 minutes of it and went, I just don't fancy this. Now, this was years ago when I kind of turned films off. Like, I'd never do it anymore, never. But World War Z, for some reason, it just wasn't vibing with me, and I didn't watch the rest of it. But my mate in work the other day said, you've got to watch that. That's an amazing film. Is that right?
That sounds like exactly the type of person that would tell you, recommend it to you. I call them work friend recommendations.
Right.
You know, the ones, ones that they've watched a film on Netflix. It's got like 2 out of 10, but they'll tell you it's the greatest thing they've ever seen.
Right. Oh, so it's just average.
It's a fun popcorn 2-hour movie. You'll probably forgot about it by the time the next day, but it's entertaining. It's It's big. It's very action centric. It's not the best zombie film of all time. Not even in the top 10. Probably not even in the top 20, to be fair. But it's funny. It's worth a watch. I've only ever seen it like 3 times since it released.
Right. Okay. So and it's a little bit of a big IP, hasn't it? It's got a few video games and everything, even though it's only got the one movie.
Yeah, everyone says to me, read the book. Book's miles better, but I've never got round to it.
Right. Last gamer on the left. Good evening. Thank you, mate. Thank you so much for coming along. Hope you're well. Speaking of Psycho, I'll get on to 28 Years Later in a minute. Have you seen all 4 Psycho movies, the first original 4?
I've seen 1 and 2 and the remake. Right. I've not seen 3 and 4. I think I might have seen 3 back in the day, but I can't really remember. I can't really picture it.
Yeah, I kind of binged them the other week, and that's like I've always loved the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But when I rewatched it this time, it was even better for me. Like, I think that is one of the greatest horror movies ever made, ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got a top 30 horror movies on Letterboxd, and I've had to put 31 now. I have to put it in there. You know what I mean?
Would you say it's one of the best sequels?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best sequels. Definitely.
Would you say it's better than the original?
No, but
it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I give them both 4.5. So, but yeah, I think that's such a very well put together, very cleverly written film, and it has no right being as good as it is. I thought 3 was pretty good, more of a slasher type movie, that one. But 4 really surprised me, like really. Like, I thought 4 was better than 3, because that's basically Norman phoning this radio station the topic is people who've killed their parents, and he's telling them like why he's killed his parents, but it goes back to his childhood and everything. And it felt like the show Bates Motel a little bit. Like, there was loads of little throw-ins from there. Have you seen both Bates Motel?
I've not, no.
No, okay. I sort of see where a lot of the Bates Motel got its stuff from there. I thought it was a really good movie. Like, it's a very underrated film, I think. But yeah, that's a strong franchise, man. A very strong franchise.
I've always got my eye on that Arrow box set that came out. You know, the red box.
That's what I watched them on, man.
Yeah, at the time when it released, I didn't pull the trigger on it, and then I seen everyone doing their unboxings and showing them off on Instagram. And I was like, oh shit, I should have fucking picked that up. But I'm keeping my eye to see if it gets re-released for its a normal retail price, or B, waiting to see if someone sells it for not daft money.
Why is that out of print?
I think so. I think people are still trying to flip it on eBay and stuff. Yeah. I don't think it's had a re-release. I think they might have re-released it again, but a sort of downgrade version of it. You know, like they did with Dawn of the Dead, where they re-released it without like the book and everything. I think they re-released it again, but I just didn't pull the trigger on it, and I don't know why. And I think at the time it was just because I already owned the original, the first one, on Blu-ray. And that's my favourite one. So I thought, do I really need the other ones? Because they're not ones that I sort of revisit as much. But I will get that, because I won't mind binging all 4. Because I've seen the first one. I sort of know the first one quite well. The second one I've seen maybe like 2 or 3 times in my lifetime. 3, I feel like I've watched it once, but I don't really remember it. And 4, I don't think I've ever seen.
Right. 4 was a straight to TV one, I believe. I might be wrong there, but I believe, yeah. But I thought it was great. Really, really underrated. I've got this like dilemma now. Speaking of Arrow box sets, with getting the Hellraiser tetralogy. So I've got the first 3 on Blu-ray, but this one includes Bloodline, and it's 4K. And I'm like, should I really pay £45 for this? I don't know. I'm like, and on over it, really, but I'm weird. I'm a bit of a collector, like franchise collector, and I sort of need to get them all, even if they're not the greatest. But yeah, I don't know.
They did like did they do like a Hellraiser box set? Didn't one come out a few years ago, like a dead nice in like a gold box sort of thing?
Done a few, really. I don't know about all of them, but there's been like box and everything, hasn't there? Like the actual box from the movie with discs in and everything. But yeah, this one they've just brought out is the first 4 on 4K, but I only own the first 3 on Blu-ray. So I'm a bit like whether to upgrade or not. don't forget to get your comments in, guys, if you're watching. I don't know how long this stream's going to go on, Paul. It might just be an hour or something. You can go whenever you want, me. You can stay as long as you want.
It's fine, mate. I've got to Love Island finishes.
Yeah, all right. You know what, mate? I think I came on a stream with you about 3 years ago, and you went, "I've got nothing better to do." She's watching Love Island.
Still going.
Yeah.
Mate, it seems to be on like 4 times a year now.
Oh yeah, I watched that once for like 2 weeks once, and I went,
check that.
Really got into it, and then went, "What am I doing?" So, yeah. So did you watch Zombie Flesh Eaters by any chance when you're doing your zombie binge?
I have seen it. I didn't. Yeah. I didn't watch it with that. I don't own it, to be fair. I have seen it before. I'm not a big fan of it.
Right.
I'm not a big fan of Italian horror. I've tried getting into it. I like it when I say that, but I like it when American films sort of pay homage to them. But
right.
I don't particularly vibe with them. I've watched a handful of them, and every one I'm like, this is a bit out there, a bit too much.
When you say
for
Italian
me.
horror, do you just mean all Italian horror?
Yeah, I've tried numerous ones, and I'm just like, I don't. It just isn't for me. It's as plain as I can really say it. So I have seen that, and I was watching it. I was just like, what is this? Like, this is so weird. It's like, why is there a zombie fighting a shark and shit?
Yeah, I think it's like the ultimate retro zombie film myself. Like, I always like to refer to that term as retro zombies. Like, do you know, like, if someone drawed you a cartoon now of a zombie, it'd be like them slow. You know, like, I think Zombie Flesh Eaters is the perfect way of showing what an actual zombie is. If you like, I love the way it's coming out the ground in the cemetery for like half an hour, the music on in the background and stuff. But yeah, I only ask because there's a limited edition Arrow box set of that coming out soon, and I think I am going to upgrade that one because I think it's a great movie. But 28 years later, mate, you win as higher on it as me, but you still liked it.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be really hard to talk about this without spoilers, but what was it that worked and what didn't work for you?
Okay. So I've said this to a few people. I think I might even written this sentence in my review. I went into this film with too high of expectations, and you know when you're a massive fan of a franchise and a new one's coming out, and you've got all this time to build up in your head what you want from the film, and then when it doesn't deliver on that, you sort of push back against it. I sort of did that. The first act of 28 years later for me, I was all on board with. I was like, this is awesome. This is exactly what I wanted from it. It gave us that sort of Last of Us, Walking Dead vibe. I love them IPs, and it was giving me that. And then it felt like it lent too much into them IPs. And when I'm saying that, I mean them IPs are built on the drama of the characters, and the zombies or the infected or whatever are sort of the background. So it's sort of like a soap opera taking part with this threat in the background. And 28 days later and even 28 weeks later aren't that. They feel like full on horror movies for me. More so the first, and the second one sort of got that action sort of vibe to it as well. But the first one for me is one of my favorite horror films, one of my favorite zombie infected films, however you want to look at it. and then this one was sort of leaning into this sort of melodrama, and I was like, I like this in my Walking Dead, I like it in my The Last of Us, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted from a 28 movie sequel. I wanted to I walked in thinking it was going to be like a full-on horror movie, like jump in, nervous, being a bit tense and that. And it does have that in it. But I felt like it's weird because this is going to be a weird sentence that comes out of me. It felt too character driven rather than focusing on the horror aspect of what I believe this franchise is known for. I don't think it did too much, in my opinion, and I know you differ on this. I don't think it did enough to expand on the lore when they've had so long to cook up a story.
Right.
I don't think that it delivered on it that much. That they talk about sort of we've tried not to spoil. They talk about the evolution of the virus, but the explanation was, I feel like it was just in a passing conversation. It wasn't. There was just like, oh, this is the reason they're like this, and I was like, is that it? Is that all you could cook up?
Mm-hmm.
The bit in the third act with Ray Fiennes' character and what unfolds in that, I started getting teary-eyed in the cinema. I was like, why the hell am I crying at a 28th sequel like that? That's not what I want. That's not what I've come to cinema for.
Mm-hmm.
People are, it's one of them, like, people could say, well, didn't it subvert your expectations? And, if it's got that emotion out of you, then surely the film's doing what it set out to do. But I felt like I was just pushing back against it. I was like, what are we doing here? And unfortunately, that ending for me derailed the whole film. You've seen it. Every YouTuber who's reviewed this film, you've watched the opinion from both sides. Some people are saying they thought it was brilliant, how it was sort of, including yourself, that it was sort of a left field, like just out there ending. Others were like, what the hell were they smoking when they wrote that?
Yeah.
The fact that got from script to screen, I was like, what are we doing here? The person I was, my friend Luke, we even looked at each other. We just sort of went,
I spoke to Luke about this movie.
we even just looked at each other and just went. But I'd say there's more positives than negatives. I give it 3.5. I could probably push to a 4. I might have been a bit harsh on it there. I am looking forward to a rewatch. I will buy it when it comes out, because I walked out going, I enjoyed it, but I wanted so much more from it.
Right.
How I can sum it up was, I was disappointed.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. I came out the cinema with my wife, my sister, and my brother-in-law, and every one of us loved it. But what I loved about it, like the discussion we were having after it, someone brings something up, and we were like, "Oh yeah," like there was so many things thrown in there that just sort of like little. I can't explain it. Like someone said about the ending, and then someone said, "Did you see what was written on that body?" And then that kind of made sense.
Yeah.
And I didn't put that 2 and 2 together. I mean, I might have when I went home and thought about it, but when you're just talking about it straight afterwards, and I was like, oh yeah. And then like just other things, like I thought there was so much going on in this world, and there's so much more to expand on. It sometimes felt like an RPG game, if you like. Like there's just so many little locations that this kid and his dad are going to. And, just like even these little shell garages and stuff like that. I just thought there's probably so many cults out there if they go down south, because they're at the north, aren't they? Imagine what's going on down there. The people down there with all sorts going on. Just this whole story about this doctor. And there's a whole little backstory about him, what people think. And I just thought that he created a really cool world there, and it just feels like after 28 years, a lot has been going on in this world, and there's so much to look around every corner and everything. So I think they will show a lot more of it in the second and third movie. I really can't wait for them. I can't really think of many. I think the bit you were saying you were teary-eyed at, there's a weird character transition in that, like from one scene to the other, how a character totally feels totally different about it, which was a bit off for me. And the action that he's doing while feeling this way is just so weird. People who've seen the movie will know what I mean. But overall, mate, I thought this is a great film, and I usually hate Danny Boyle's editing, like in his movies. Like 120 7 hours. That got voted best editing in the Oscars, and I was like, I hated the way that movie was edited, but I think he edited it really well. I like the way things were just popping on the screen at times to tell you, like they'll go to a location and something will pop on the screen that happened there, and I thought, oh, there's a little bit of history with every little location we're finding here. I really enjoyed it. I did, and I thought that kid was awesome. I thought it was a great performance by him. So
I had absolute zero problem with any of the performances in it. I thought all the performances were absolutely stellar. There was some character choices in the film where I was a bit scratching my head at, a bit more so with Aaron Taylor Johnson's character.
Yeah.
But trying to bounce around spoilers. He sort of just, he's quite prominent at the start of the film, and then he is sort of writ out for a bit. And in my head, I was like, his character, from what I've been told, even though the stories told me why he's not there, I think I kept thinking there's no way he would not be there.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I'd be like, do everything in his power to.
Yeah, he won't care. Yeah,
I know what you're saying.
And I was gutted he did sort of write him out slightly, because I really enjoyed his character as well.
Yeah.
But that kid, what's his name? I forget his name.
Alfie Williams, I believe.
He's got a good career ahead of him.
Yeah.
He carried the film.
He's only been in one movie before this, like a movie I've never even heard of. So for him to stand out above all these professional actors, I just thought it was phenomenal to me. So, sorry, Paul, what was you saying about him?
No, I was just saying, all the performances were fantastic. I've said this to a couple of my mates. I would be interested to know my own thoughts on the film had I no prior knowledge to the original one. Because I remember when that film hit, I don't think I was the right age to see it. 2001. No, I wouldn't have been 18 then. No chance. I can't do the maths. But I remember seeing it, and I remember being scared by that when I first watched that when I was a kid. So, and I wanted that sort of repeat effect on this film. I wanted it, like a newer generation version of that. And, that wasn't, clearly that's not what they were going for. They were trying to set up this new world. You don't need to have seen the original to get this one. You sort of picks you up very quickly in the start, which I thought was quite cool how they did that. And it is part 1 of 3. And did you feel like it had that sort of part 1 element to it, where it was sort of going, and then it was just like, right, now you've got part 2?
I thought it was a movie that kind of stood on its own until the very end, and then it's like cliffhanger time.
To be continued.
yeah. But apart from that, I do think it did quite stand on its own, to be honest. Did you?
Yeah, probably until that end bit where it really give you that. It could have literally come up on screen, like the end of Back to the Future, to be continued. But I believe the sequel is scheduled for January. It's already in the can. It's done. Neil DaCosta, who's directing it, is it going to have the same effect without Danny Boyle and Alex Garland? Well, did they write it? Did Garland still write this one?
I'm not sure, but I found it very strange that she's directing it. I thought Danny Boyle was doing all 3, and I only found this out the other day. So, I think she done a good job of Candyman, though. I think, what was the other one she done for Marvel?
The Marvels.
The Marvels,
wasn't it?
You can tell there's a lot of studio interference there, so I'm willing to give it a pass with that. But I hated that movie.
I wasn't a big fan of it.
But I think she can do a good job here, so I'm really excited for it, to be honest. But I'm not sure if Danny Boyle. I'm sure they've got some input, him and Alex Garland. They've worked together a lot of times, haven't they? But were you a little bit disappointed because the infected could have been, like, they are very scary zombies, these infected, aren't they? Like, they're not your typical zombie. They're very fast. They're ruthless. You can get infected within 30 seconds and become one of them. Do you wish they would have used that more? Is that what you're saying? Because I do think there was some tense scenes here, especially with that Alpha running after them. And there was other moments I thought that were quite, like, where they were on the train and stuff. I don't think they're spoilers. But Did you want a little bit more than that?
Yeah, I feel like they didn't do much more than we haven't already seen in the first two films. If you could argue that they did it better in the other two films, because the scenes in that where there's like 50 of them coming at them, and you really like, you're nervous for these characters and stuff like that. And I felt in this, the infected were sort of a bit more in the background. Like you have the infected scenes in it, but I think I'm sort of using this Alpha as sort of the big villain of the movie, if you like.
When you say big, go on, sorry, mate.
I feel like again, it was just stuff that I wanted to see that I didn't get, and it frustrated me. I wanted to see, like, hordes of these things chasing them and stuff like that. I mean, it was more smaller scaled. I know you're not a big fan of the sequel, the 28 Weeks Later, but even in that, the scenes in that was, when they're running out of the building, that there's fucking all chaos ensuing. I felt like there wasn't. I felt like it was missing a bit of that. It was just missing that, like, holding your seat sort of like tenseness. Yeah. I think the best they got in this one was in the house scene. I think that was probably the most I was tense in the film.
Yeah, in the first act.
Yeah.
Just got a quick couple of messages here. I don't know why StreamYard. Oh yeah, I do know why StreamYard have messed this up. Money upgrade. I've not seen 28 Years later yet, but seeing it's getting mixed reviews. But bear in mind, it's the first of 3, so may expand more as it goes on. Yeah, I think they are going to expand more as it goes on, Keith. But I really like to see Paul's opinion, because he was disappointed by it, but he's still got plenty to like. But it seems like most people, you either have to hate this film or you have to love it. So nice to see someone with an opinion.
No, I definitely didn't hate it. It just disappointed
I'm just going
me
by what people say online, mate.
Of course, but bear in mind, I'm someone who's easily pleased as well. Like, I've given like 4 or 5 star films that don't deserve it, but because I've just enjoyed them so much. So it's that's the only word I can really use. I was just disappointed by it. That disappointment might go away with some rewatches. Once I've settled into it and I can rewatch it, sort of knowing what they're going for and how it plays out, I might enjoy it a bit more. But on first viewing, I just walked out just a little bit disappointed with it. But I had a good enough time.
Yeah, that's fair enough, mate. We've got Dawn Keith here. Thanks, Dawn, for coming along. Hope you're well. Yeah, cheers. Thanks for coming along again. I know you comment on a few of my videos and stuff, so it's always appreciated. Any movies, horror-wise, that you're looking forward to? Megan 2, maybe?
I don't even know if that's a horror movie. I've not even seen the first one.
Haven't you?
No.
Yeah. I think the movie, I think it's very average, to be honest. I give it 3 star on Letterboxd when I first watched it, but I've had no desire to go back and watch it.
Empire Magazine give this new one 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Just before I come on this live stream, I thought I'll just see what they've given that, because I've seen it on my Instagram, and yeah, 4 out of 5. So
no, normally my opinions sort of line up with Empire like 9 out of 10 times. So I'm going to get this first one rewatched. It's available on all loads of streaming service. So I will get it. I don't know why I've not watched it, because it's sort of, the first one sort of looks like a film I might get a bit of enjoyment of, being sort of like a Child's Play fan. Yeah. And it's sort of like a modern version of that, and that's exactly everything you heard in reviews when it come out. It feels like a sort of modern day Child's Play sort of vibe to it. So I'm going to check it out. The second, that 4 out of 5's got me a little bit intrigued, but
yeah, especially from Empire.
Yeah, exactly. And I have heard that though the first one is more of a horror, and they've gone down sort of like a action route with the sequel, and I believe they've even dropped the certificate to like a 12A. Is it a 12A?
Right. Okay.
Which
I'm not sure what it is. To be honest.
It might be another 15, but I'm sure I read that the certificate's been dropped from the first one. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to Megan 2, but I'm intrigued by it now.
Anything else you are looking forward to then?
Oh man, I tell you what, it was crazy when I watched 28 Years Later. They played like 3 or 4 of awesome looking horror films. There's some good stuff coming up, man. Weapons.
Yeah.
Weapons.
I haven't seen the trailer for that. But...
No, yeah, don't. I've watched them all and I wish I didn't, but I can't bloody help myself, Jordan. I can't. As soon as I see it, I'm like, oh, that looks the tits. That looks that looks awesome. And, you know, Barbarian was such a surprise when that come out.
Yeah.
I remember watching that. What did it drop on? We got it on Disney Plus, didn't we? Was it on Disney Plus?
Yeah,
we got it on.
I believe it's on Netflix now. They've just put it on Netflix. Yeah. Was it Disney Plus? I think it was, wasn't it?
I think it might be, yeah, weirdly. That film was scary. Yeah. Like not like I can't go to sleep scary, but there's not many films that can get me sort of in that sort of nervousness. That did, man. There's a scene in that film and when they're going down that corridor of the mate. Yeah. That was incredible.
I was watching it with my wife, mate, and I turned to it and she fell asleep and I was like, I'm on my own. Like, I don't get scared by films that much, man, but that bit was so fucking tense. Like, I was like, oh, what the hell is down here? Yeah. Well,
so this new Weapons, as soon as I see from the same person who brought you Barbarian, I'm locked in, and it looks eerie. The synopsis of it sounds intriguing. Sounds like it's going to be a sort of a creepy film. Looking forward to that. Is it Together or Togethers? James Franco.
That's the one I'm looking forward to the most, I think.
That looks awesome. That they showed the trailer for that before 20 Years Later. I'd only heard beforehand, before seeing the trailer. I think Cody Leach said it's his favourite horror film of the year so far by a landslide.
I think that's why I was a little bit intrigued hearing him and a few of his other friends from that Sundance to say, go into this blind. So every time that trailer comes on, I look away.
I will say, though, like I have seen the trailer. Don't watch it. If you want to go blind, don't watch it. But after seeing it, I still really don't have a clue what it's about. It's one of them sort of trailers where you're just getting loads of like weird shit going on in it. And I was like, I have no idea what this film's about, but it looks scary. It looks
so they haven't given the whole movie away in the trailer
I don't think so. No, like there's things that happen in it that had I not known about, I wouldn't have known about. But it's not that sort of trailer where I've seen the whole film. Didn't feel like anyway.
Right.
What else is coming up, man? Have you got any you can think of the top of your head?
Yeah, well, mine was Together. That was the main one. But I am weirdly looking forward to The Strangers Chapter 2. Like, I hate that original film. I hate it. I've watched it 3 times now. I don't get it. I hate it. And I know the new one was the very, very original. Like,
you don't like it?
No, I hate it, mate. I hate Liv Tyler in it. I hate Scott Spearman. They're the worst protagonists. I don't care what happens to them. Don't get me wrong, there's some good stuff in there, like the way they use the strangers in the shadows and stuff like that. I just think the ending's daft as well. It's like, what the hell is the ending? But I know Strangers Chapter 1 is a slight sort of remake of it, but I like the characters more in this, even though they make a few dumb decisions. And I just think it flows better. It's not like as boring as the original. But I'm very intrigued to see where they're going, because I did watch the trailer for this and it looks interesting to me. So I'm not massively excited for it or anything like that. But yeah, another one. I know what you did last summer, the requel or remake, whatever you want to call it. I think it's going into a little bit comedic elements by the first trailer, but I think the original film's got a really good story. Actually, when you rewatch it now, it's a lot more clever than I thought it was back in the day. Because I don't know if you Paul, but have you ever had a dream where, like, I'm probably the only one here now, but it feels like someone like you've done something in the past and it's catching up with you, and then you wake up from the dream and go, oh, thank God that wasn't real. I feel like that's what that movie is sort of like.
Yeah.
And I would hate to have that situation, if you get me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what they do with this. I think it was a bit weird when Jennifer Love Hewitt turned around and goes, "So what did you do last summer?"
I need to rewatch the first one because I've not seen that film in a long time. That original. Every time I think of that film, I always just it was one of the scary movies when you go, "We hit a boot," and then somebody goes, "Where's the foot?"
Yeah,
that's what it reminds me of. Yeah, I've not seen that original one in a long time. That that original one come out when I know you and me are around the same age, so that would have hit us the same time as when Final Destination, Scream, all them were popping off because it was essentially a Scream clone for better or worse, wasn't it? It was sort of bouncing off that sort of revigoration of the slasher genre. I will say I was not excited for it at all, this new one, until I watched Final Destination Bloodlines, because I thought, so right, if they can rejuvenate this franchise and bring it back, they can do it again, with another franchise. So I believe that comes out in a few weeks. I'm going to get the original watched in the next week or so. The sequel, not so much, because I've only seen that once and I don't intend to ever watch it again. But, if they can capture that sort of energy that they did, that sort of with Final Destination Bloodlines, and even with Scream 5, which, there's people out there who didn't really like Scream 5. I thought that was a great sort of comeback for that franchise. If they can bring that flavour back where they just modernise it, bring it up to modern times, it could be a good time at the cinema.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say another movie then. What was it?
Can I say one?
Go on.
That new Stephen King one, is it, what's it called? Is it The Walking or something? Is it called? I seen the trailer for it in front of 28 Years Later. It's apparently Stephen King's very first book, and it's never been adapted until now. And it looks as if it's a group of characters who are on a road just walking, and if you stop, you die.
Oh no.
You've not seen the trailer for it? No. Oh. So this is coming out soon. I'm going to quickly bring it up, Jordan, because the cast looked strong in it, but I can't for the hell remember who was in it. Mark Hamill's in it. I know that Mark Hamill's in the trailer, and he looks like he's putting in a sort of like a creepy performance, which you won't really expect to see from Mark Hamill.
Dawn, I can see your comments. I'll get to them in a second, I promise.
The Long Walk, it's called. Right, let me get that up. Cast.
The Long Walk. I haven't even heard of this one, mate.
So David Johnson's in it, who was obviously
from
Alien. I say there's a strong cast. He's the only one that I recognise. Judy Gray's in it. So yeah, it must have been David Johnson that sort of grabbed me attention, because he obviously put in such a great performance in Alien Romulus. So everyone said, can't wait to see what he does next. Right. So he's in it, and obviously Mark Hamill plays like he looks like he's playing like a disgruntled sort of sergeant of an army or something, but it looks like he's putting in a bit of a sinister performance. But the trailer looked pretty intense, to be fair, so I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's a Stephen King adaptation. It's not out till September.
Right, okay. That's fine. I'll keep my eye for that one, mate. I'll just get these comments off Show on Stage. Sure. Dawn Keith. I enjoyed Megan, the first one, but out of curiosity, I'd like to see Megan 2 for fun. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going in a totally different direction, Dawn. A little bit of a Terminator 2 style.
It looks like they've gone from Child's Play to Seed of Chucky. Do you know what I mean? Where they're so self-aware already with the sequel. You know what I mean? They've gone so self-aware.
I don't think it's going to be quite that, but it's definitely going to be different, put it that way.
Yeah.
But honestly, the best way I can describe that trailer is Terminator 2. That's what they're doing.
I do like the trailer. Looks quite fun with playing that.
Have you seen the Megan 2 trailer? Yeah,
I've seen the trailer, the Britney Spears song and all that. Like she's bloody doing all the taekwondo on the.
All right, okay. I didn't know you'd seen it. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't look like a horror movie to me.
No, not at all. No.
No. Okay, I know you did last summer. I'm looking forward to just see how weird the murders will be. Yeah. Well, he's like a forgotten icon, the hook-handed killer, isn't he? The fisherman, I suppose. So maybe they can do something interesting with him. Oh, this StreamYard, I'm never getting used to it ever. Dawn says, I hate clowns by a long way, but I'd still like to see clown in a cornfield. Friendo, but I think it'll be good. They offer all 3 books in the series, so you can bet there will be 3. Well, depends how well it's doing at the box office, I suppose, Dawn. I don't know how well it's done, but I tell you what, Paul, there's usually a seat or 2 free in my cinema, at least. I had to wait a few days to see this because every seat was took. There was only 2 showings a day, but every single seat was took. So, did you see this one?
I've not. You've seen this, yeah?
Yeah, I liked it. Good little slasher film. Trying to do something a little bit different. About halfway through, and I thought that was a cool little way of doing it. But a lot of people will just see this as a silly movie. But I love killer clown films, so it worked for me.
You'll have to maybe sell it on me. For me, it looked like one of these bloody like Popeye, Winnie the Pooh.
No,
it's nothing like that. It's a bit more high budget than them.
Yeah, it's definitely more high budget. It's a lot more polished than them. I wouldn't even. To me, a lot of them are cash grabs. Them Popeye movies and stuff. This is, I believe, the books are really clever books, and they've got a massive fan base. And I think that's the main reason they actually turned it into a movie. I can't really sell it on you without just saying if you like slashes, you might like it.
Give it a go.
But there's a few cool kills and everything. But it's what it does halfway through. It's not an eccentric. It's not so out there, but it does something a little bit different than normal slashers do. And that's when I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." So
weirdly, for some reason, the algorithm of Instagram Reels keeps bringing me up the author, trying to sell people on the book. He's like, "You've seen the film now." He's like, "Buy my book."
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah. Well, if you watch the film,
it must be telling me to give it a go.
If you watch the film, Paul, you'll probably go and read all 3 books.
I know, yeah, I'll probably have the box set and all sorts.
You all right for a minute, Paul?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah. So they might do 3 more sequels, Dawn. It depends how well the film's done, I think. I like to see The Monkey. Have either of you watched it yet? You seen The Monkey, Paul?
I've not. I was going to rent it the other night. Like I said, I'm catching up with films I missed at the cinema. Obviously, I loved Longlegs last year. Obviously, it's the same director, but it come out originally to really positive reviews. Then, as the general public got to see it, it started dropping, which sort of put me off it a bit. And there was a few reviewers who I'm not going to say put me faith in, but people who you sort of line up with who were saying it was okay. It wasn't really a patch on Longlegs. So I decided to skip it at the cinema. So I will watch it though. I've got it. I will. I was, like I said, I was going to rent it the other night, but I just didn't get around to it. But that's on my sort of to watch list for the next week or so.
I'd say it's a very easy film to watch. The first half is definitely, the first 2 acts are really good. And the third act, I was it's a bit of a letdown now, but there's some great gore in there and everything. The kills are insane. The monkey is just a horrible little bastard. Even though it's not really a monkey, it's like an ornament, but whatever. But yeah, man, it's okay. It's nowhere near as good as Longlegs, to be honest. Longlegs is a lot more of a clever movie. Yeah, Dawn, it's all right. It's all right. I don't know what she's put there. The Lee, I think that's a spelling mistake, so we'll just go on to this one. The Long Walk looks good. Dare you stop?
Yeah,
that's the movie.
That's the tagline to the film. Dare you stop? Or dare you stop walking or something? It does look good. The Conjuring, Last Rites. I'm looking forward to. Love the first 2. I've gone on record and I can still say it. I think the Conjuring 1 and 2 are 2 of the greatest modern horror films we've had in the since like 2000 to where we are now. I think they're in like possibly 2 of the top 10 horror films we've had in like the last 20 odd years. The third one was a bit of a disappointment. I still enjoyed it, but it was a big step down from the first two. But with this one being, the marketing it as the finale or whatnot, and it's the last time we're going to see these characters, I'm hoping they can sort of bring it back to the level, maybe not the level of the first two, but I hope I enjoy it more than the third one. And the trailer does look good for it, to be fair. I'm intrigued by it.
I haven't seen the trailer for this yet. I didn't even know it was out, the trailer, to be honest. I'm not on Twitter no more, so I'm a little bit out the loop now with these movies, the movie news and stuff. I'm going to have to try and find another source of getting it. But I'm with you, man. I love the first two. I actually prefer the second slightly. I think it's because it's all in the UK and it just felt a little bit more of a better story. I do think the first one's the scarier movie, but the second one's got a better story, if you like. I think I'm going to rewatch these two before this one. The third one, for me, I didn't like it at all. I hated the way they made Vera Farmiga like a superhero. Like, if she can just go in and touch a crime scene and see the whole thing.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's probably one of the points I hated in it. Like, I was a bit of a step down. Oh my God,
and the director has made a few of these universe movies, hasn't he? And he's doing this one, and he's Is it not James Wan doing this new one? No.
Yeah, that's red flags right there. Then
yeah. Got another comment here. Just catching the stream now. Robert Morrison, is that? The screen is so small. Just catching the stream now and enjoying it, guys. The two upcoming horrors I'm looking forward to are Weapons and Bring Her Back.
Yeah, Bring Her Back.
Sorry if you already discussed these. I knew there was another one, Bring Her Back. A movie that we're getting 3 months after the US, but still looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah. They're doing that again.
Yeah, it's out in America, mate. They'll probably be on streaming by the time we get it.
That's happened, though, hasn't it? What did we get? It come out streaming, and then they put it on the cinema at the same time. But you could just watch it at home.
Wasn't Pearl, was it? We got that like 6 months later.
Was it? No. Was it Pearl? No. What? I can't remember what it was, but that's ridiculous. I can't remember what film it was, but they literally put it on streaming and the cinema at the same time. Yeah. I was like, why would you? I mean, if you want to go watch it on the big screen, you go and pay to watch it on the big screen, I suppose. But that's a weird thing that they do. That's ridiculous that we get it so late.
They're shooting themselves in the foot, these movie companies, mate, because even
the hype goes as well. Yeah. The hype sort of gone by the time we sort of get it late.
Yeah. And spoilers are out there and everything,
Yeah.
But Robert, Bring Her Back, I'm very interested in, because I really did like Talk to Me. On rewatch, didn't love it as much, but I still really liked it. But I'm interested to see what these guys are going to do next, because they've definitely got a lot of talent. So, sorry, we did discuss Weapons earlier, mate. Very intrigued about that one. Paul's really excited for that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that film, man.
Bolton Glasgow missing or something, isn't it?
Yeah, so the trailer sort of, I don't want to spoil it for you. The basic synopsis: one night, 20 odd kids get out of bed, run out of the house, and go missing.
Right,
and they're trying to figure out what happened.
Right, that is an interesting concept to say the least.
Yeah.
Tom 180 says, "Evening, lads."
Hey, what's going on?
I know I spoke to you earlier, mate, but thanks for sending me that movie Grudge Match, because I watched it last night. So he sent me about 2 years ago when I finally watched it. Sorry?
Is that the Robert De Niro one? The boxing one? Oh, mate, I've not seen that for years. That was a good film.
Do you know what, mate? I went on Letterboxd before and I was like, what's all these bad scores? This is going to be really bad. And I watched it and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah. Kevin Hart's in it as well. Jamie, my good friend, my cinema buddy, best mate. Sorry, late to the party. Which horror franchise would you like to be remade? Interesting. Nightmare on Elm Street.
I would probably go. In fact, go with that. Explain your reasons. I'm quite intrigued to hear why you'd like them remade.
Because I'm just starved of it. It's the franchise I grew up with, but I do realize now that there are some really bad movies in that franchise, and I would just like to see a different take on Freddy. Like, I love Robert Englund and stuff, but I'm just interested to see what someone else can do. And I don't want to live in a world where there's no more Nightmare on Elm Street movies ever. And it's been a while now. It's been like 15 years. I think a lot of horror fans want this. And the remake, I don't hate it, but there's definitely a way better movie to be made there. And I just think with all stuff that they can do in film now, like these dreams that people go into, the creative stuff that they could actually do there. Yeah, I mean, I'd absolutely love it. I did have to get it right, of course, but I don't know. I'm just starved of another Freddy film, mate, to be honest. I'd like them to take a few elements of 1, 2, and 3 and maybe mix them together somehow. I don't know. You're not interested in that?
Oh, 100% I am. I think it's absolutely insane we haven't got a reboot. Considering we're in the age of horror reboots, we have been for years now. I think it's insane that they've not tapped into Freddy Krueger. Because like you said, I don't hate the remake, but it was defo a missed opportunity. There was elements of it that were right that I thought, I forget his name, what's his name?
James Earl.
James Earl. Rorschach.
Let's just call him Rorschach.
Yeah. I thought he was a really good Freddy Krueger. I don't think he was as good as Robert Englund. That would be hard to get as good as him, just because he's so iconic and he is Freddy Krueger to you. So I don't think, regardless of who they get in, they will ever tap into that, especially him in that original movie. But there was elements to the remake that I liked. I liked that they made him a bit more of a sleazeball in it, Freddy Krueger, a bit, like a child predator and stuff. Quite as weird as that sounds, I did quite like that. Give him sort of purpose, give
Makes
him a reason to
even more villain, doesn't it?
Yeah. There was some good sort of. It was quite CGI heavy, but they had some good ideas, the way the world would turn, a bit like, like Silent Hill, the way it would go flip from the real world to the dream world, stuff like that. But I think it's crazy we haven't got a reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street. We are due one. It's just it's one of them where they will make it like a big Hollywood movie, and it'd be so good and interesting if someone like a bit more of an indie film, or like a film that A24 put out or something like that. Just give it that sort of A24 flavor. But yeah, like I said, I'm shocked we haven't got one yet. For me, I think Friday the 13th needs a major kick in the teeth. For me, might get him a horror card revoked. I don't like the Friday the 13th franchise. I never have. I've tried to convince myself it's a good franchise. Horror fans will tell you it's the greatest horror franchise of all time, stuff like that. And I've watched them films so many times. I'm like, these are shit. Like, these are like not good movies. They're not scary. They're not, they're just, I think there's like 2 or 3 in the franchise that I like. I don't even think the first one's that great. I think
controversial.
I think 4 and 6 are good as sort of like 80s slashes. And my favourite one, like you, is the remake. That's my favourite Friday the 13th film, because I think that did a good job of blending everything that was good about the franchise, which isn't much, but made a good sort of 90-minute horror movie out of what is sort of the good elements of the actual franchise itself. There's a TV series on the way. Is it called Crystal Lake or something?
Crystal Lake Memories, I believe.
Can you have Jason in that? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what is this?
Well, didn't someone get cast as Jason's mother the other day? I think it's going to be like, I don't even think Jason might, well, I think he'd be in it, but I don't know if he'd be the Jason we all know. I think he might be a young kid in it.
But, they keep plugging this Jason universe. Who's got the right? Is it Blumhouse that have the rights to Friday the 13th? Is it them who's doing
I hope not.
Is it that? Whoever's got the rights to it are doing this Jason universe, and they keep advertising it as Jason universe, and they've released concepts of what their new Jason is going to look like. It looks pretty badass, to be fair. People have said it looks terrible, but I thought quite like the look of it. But
they're doing like a Universal thing at Universal Studios this year as well, with it.
Yeah. So I'd like to see a couple of Friday the 13th films that I actually enjoy.
Fair enough, mate. Just going back to Elm Street, I wouldn't like to be the person who casts Freddy, because that is just really going to be a hard job. But regarding Friday the 13th, mate, I think it's the easiest horror franchise in the world to watch. Like, I could throw any of them on, and I've maybe not Jason Goes to Manhattan or Jason X and Goes to Hell. I don't mind them, but the first 7 movies, like I could throw them on and just have a lot of fun with them. I actually really like them, but I get what you're saying. They're not like particularly well made films or anything like that.
You know what makes me laugh, right? You know, this. I apologize if you own these films, Jordan. If you've bought these, I'm sorry. I apologize. This is what I love about horror fans and the horror community. I'm part of it. I love that a new film will come out and people will say, that's terrible. These same people will then go and buy the Jason X 4K Arrow fucking special edition fucking movie to own. I'm like, you've literally just spent £30-40 on one of the fucking worst movies ever made. And you're out here, telling me stuff like The Conjuring 3 is a shit film. But you know what I'm saying? It's just like you not saying you, but you know what I'm saying, like people will be like, I've done it. I've bought films that are shit that I shouldn't be owning. But I just find that funny that we'll slag films off, but then we'll go own a film that doesn't deserve to be owned.
Yeah. No, I know. I think a lot of horror fans do like the trashy stuff as well, though, to be honest, but I've got the Friday the 13th box set. I haven't upgraded to the Arrow ones or anything like that, but I don't love them that much. But, you know, people love them. They love them.
Of course.
Where are we? Good question, Jamie. Right, not really a horror question, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just go into regular movie discourse. I'm not bothered. Just got done watching Happy Gilmore. First time in about 20 years, and it all came back to me. What a classic. Hope the sequel doesn't suck. From Tom 180. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sequel, even though I'm also not looking forward to it. I mean, I love the first one that much, but I don't know. It's straight to Netflix. What about you?
I love the original. For some reason, weirdly, one of my friends in work, Joe, he always quotes the bit where he goes, "Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?" Like, for some reason, my mate in work just always says that.
Like, I've heard so many quotes from that film, but I've never heard anyone say that one.
Yeah, I don't know why he just said. I don't know why he said he does it all the time. I'll just hear him down like an aisle somewhere. The next minute he'll be like, "Gold jacket, green jacket, who gives a shit?" Yeah, I'm nervous for the sequel. It's whatever I will watch because it's a sequel to such a beloved sort of comedy. But is it 20 years too late? It could be amazing. Like, I was nervous with Beverly Hills Cop 4, and that ended up being like one of my favorite films last year. I had a great time with that. Didn't do nothing special, but just being back in that world with them characters, just, you know, made you smile. And sometimes when you get these films sequels that a long time later, especially 20 years, I always find it that the characters or the actors can't quite tap into the character again. It doesn't feel like it's the same character. When a good example is Arnie in any of the Terminator sequels after Terminator 2. Like, I don't ever feel like it's the same, even though you could argue it's a different Terminator model, but it feels like it's just Arnie being Arnie, Arnie pretending to try and be the Terminator. So there's one thing I'm excited about in this is all the I believe Eminem's in it. There's all these like famous sports stars that are going to be in it, so it could be a good time. We'll see. I felt like I was ranting a bit.
It's out this month, next month, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not far. It's a couple of weeks.
Oh, we'll see. But Tom Gardner here.
I wonder if they'll do like a Carl Weathers tribute in it.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. But you know what though? Some of them Adam Sandler films that have gone straight to Netflix, I've enjoyed. Like, even though it was terrible, I fucking thought it was hilarious as well at the same time. You know that one where he's a wolf?
I've not seen that one, to be fair.
No, he's not a wolf. Hubie Halloween, it's called. It's honestly, man, it's really funny. Watch it around October. It's a Halloween film. But I thought that was hilarious, to be honest. But a lot of people will be like, maybe it's just my humour. A lot of people hated it. Tom Gardner here, right, mate? Thanks for coming along. All right, boys, it's Tom. Do you think the Black Phone 2 will put Blumhouse back on track after a series of flops? It seems like they're trying to make their own Freddy. Remember your mate Luke thought this was actually going to be a Freddy movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He had me even more hyped for that film when I heard that theory, and I was gutted it weren't true. I'm not sure they're trying to make their own Freddy, mate, but I don't know. The first one must have just done well, so they thought we can just bang a sequel out. And Ewan McGregor does look quite terrifying in that mask, I suppose, and I think that'll remind a lot of people about the first. I don't know. This one being in the snow and stuff looks interesting. I'm not too excited for it. I didn't love the first one, but I did like it. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, man. I thought it was okay. The first one for me was... I think I liked the first half of it, and then it sort of derailed towards the end, and there was loads of unanswered questions in that film. Yeah. I can talk spoilers. It's quite an old film, a few years old. I didn't like the way the kids had these sort of powers, unexplained sort of supernatural powers. And I was like, well, because the film sets up, it's sort of like this real grounded story, and the rules weren't set out properly for why these kids could do what they could do, and they didn't explain it in the film, and it just, I don't know, it sort of derailed the film for me. It looks like they're going in a bit of a different direction with the sequel. He's the killer in it. Who's the actor? What's his name? Ethan McGregor. Hunt, not Ethan Hunt. That's not Ethan. It's not Ewan McGregor.
I know. What am I on about? Ethan Hawke.
I said Ethan Hunt, mate. Mission Impossible. Ethan Hawke.
He's off Mission Impossible, isn't he?
Yeah, Ethan Hawke. His character in it. What did they call him in it? I can't remember what they called him in it. Yeah, he was creepy in it. Yeah. I think what Tom's trying to say is they're trying to make their own, maybe new villain, new horror icon. I mean, I presume most horror films, when they're trying to put like that sort of character, and they want it to be the next big horror icon, and I can see why people would want him to be, because if they did it right, he could be a really cool horror icon. I'm not overly excited for the sequel. I will check it out though.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, mate. I was preferring that first movie a lot more when it was more grounded, to be honest. So we got Keith here. I did see somewhere that they were remaking A Nightmare on Elm Street, but there's so much dross on social media, it's hard whether to know it's true or false. I will say, Keith, I've seen a lot of like fake posters on Facebook and stuff, like directed by Rob Zombie and starring that kid from Road Trip, the skinny guy. Mm-hmm. He was Freddy.
Oh dear.
People believe this shit, but there's so many of these posters, man, and yeah, I don't think anything has been officially announced yet, to be honest. No. But some of the posters and like these announcements on pages are convincing as well. So
there's been some really good fan films on YouTube as well, like short fan films that have been quite impressive on Nightmare on Elm Street. But that's one of them. I'll believe it when I see an official announcement, because they've been talking about it for years, but just nothing seems to happen. Yeah. It's crazy.
I watched that Dylan's New Nightmare. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are you all right to stay on, Paul? Do you want?
No. I'll probably
got a few more comments here, mate. It might. By the way, if anyone wants to join in, link to the description in the video. If you want to come on with us, it might be similar to Bates Motel, a contemporary prequel.
Yeah.
Which might be, because the last one you talked about.
I think he's talking about Camp Crystal Lake or whatever they're calling it.
Sorry,
I presume it will feel like that. That's what it's going to go for. It's going to go for that sort of Bates Motel, Hannibal sort of serialized version of the movie. But I just feel like, do we want to see a prequel of Mrs. Voorhees for 3 seasons? It's just like she's not the selling point to me for Friday the 13th. It's Jason, always has been. Purists would probably say like you'll get plenty of horror fans out there who say like she's better than Jason because they're so, that first film's so important to them and stuff. But do you want to see 3 seasons of Mrs. Voorhees going from teenager to? I mean, it could be interesting to see how she got to be such a nutter. I mean,
I think they might turn her into the killer. Like, give this franchise another killer. If they're gonna do that. But you know what I mean? Bates Motel is one of the greatest TV shows I've ever seen. Like, I absolutely love it. So I'm not fully against them doing that.
Just sorry to jump in, John. Sorry, Bates Motel. Did it get cancelled? Is there a finale to it?
No, it's fully rounded. It was meant to finish on season 5. It's only 10 episodes in each one. I highly recommend it, mate. Highly.
Yeah, I might have to watch it. One of them, there's one. It might be Hannibal then that got cancelled and it didn't get to finish it. That's probably why I never really thought I don't want to watch a show if it's not finished. You know what I mean?
Hannibal got cancelled, I think, but I think it did. But Bates Motel is fully rounded off with a great ending. But yeah, I'm not fully against it after loving Bates Motel. And maybe if they make Mrs. Voorhees the new killer, and she's always been this killer, it's not just because Jason drowned. She's always had this killer instinct in her, and she's always been this like sort of serial killer. I think that could be interesting. I do. But a lot of people will be pissed off with that because Jason is their boy. So
if they cast Samara Weaving as Mrs. Voorhees, I'll be there day one.
I think they have cast someone as Miss Voorhees, haven't they?
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't it there?
No.
Oh.
I'm going to see if we can get it up. Miss Voorhees casting. Linda something. Linda, just seen her name. Linda Cardellini.
Can't say I've heard of her, mate.
I'm going to have a look. What she's been in. Linda Cardellini. Oh, you do know who it is. It's her out of Scooby-Doo, who plays Velma.
I've never seen a Scooby-Doo movie, mate.
You'd know who. Let me see if I can find what else she's been in. You know, she's in Daddy's Home, Legally Blonde, Freaks and Geeks, Green Book. You'd know if you see her, mate. Trust me, you'd know who she is.
Okay.
She plays Hawkeye's missus in the Avengers films.
Right, I'm on her. Yeah. Yeah, I know.
That'd be interesting. That could be interesting then.
Yeah. So Tom says, scariest film of the year so far. Well, that's just reminded me of another film that I'm really looking forward to coming out, and it's Hell House Lineage. Can't wait for that. Have you seen any of them films, Paul?
No, I've still not watched them, George. I know you want me to. You're not the only person who's told me to watch them.
You're not a found footage fan?
Yeah, I just haven't watched them. I just haven't got around to them.
Right.
You've put me off them by saying they're like actually really scary. So, like the last film I watched that really frightened the life out of me was Hereditary. Yeah. I remember watching that all on my own at like 10 o'clock at night, pitch black, curtains closed. Mate, that freaked me out. And I don't want that feeling again. I don't like horror films beating me.
Well, that latest Hell House, mate, I told me mates in work to watch it. They all come in the next day and went, "Oh, that was scary." That. So.
Yeah, my mate Luke said like he said to him, "Mate, watch it on your own." I said to him, "Day to watch it on your own." And when if you watch on your own, the pitch black, I'll watch it. And then he watched it, messaged me saying, "Mate, don't watch that film on your own, lad."
Like, because it's scary or bad?
Yeah, he freaked the shit out of him.
Right. I didn't know you were like that, Paul. I didn't know if it was going to be a bit too scary. You might stay away from it.
No, I just don't like the fact that horror films beat me.
Right. Okay.
All these films I watch, I'm like, I'm not having you scare me. And the fact that two of me mates have gone to me, this film actually is scary. It's just put me off watching it. I will watch them. I will get around to them.
Well, this one's actually coming to the cinema, so I'm really hyped about that. And I don't think it's found footage. I think it's actually just like a normal type movie. So that'll be interesting. But believe it or not, the scariest film of the year for me so far is actually the same director as the Hell House films, and it's 825 Forest Road. Now, a lot of people said this film was shit. Looked at the letterbox review. I thought it was great. I really did. I don't see the hate with it. And there was some moments in that film, man, where I was like, holy fucking shit. And my wife fell asleep. I woke my wife up say, listen, you're going to have to watch this scene with me. I knew something was coming, man. So yeah.
Is it as scary as the Hell House, or is it a little bit of a step down? No,
I wouldn't say it's as scary, but there's scary moments in there. But nearly the whole of Hell House is scary. So there's scary scenes in this though. Went straight to Shudder. But yeah, I would say 825 Forest Road for me, Tom. That's the only one that's quite scared me this year, I think. What about you, Paul?
I don't think there is one. I don't think there's a film that's put me on edge this. Let me think. Scariest film of the year that I've seen.
It's very rare I get scared by
films.
That's
it. That's like the. I'd probably say Nosferatu. That creeped me out, but it didn't. But it's probably the scariest film I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Wolfman had some quite good jump scares. It didn't scare. It's hard because if I have seen a film that legitimately scared me, I would happily tell you. But I don't think there's been a scary horror film that I've personally seen this year. It's been a lot of sort of like slasher, fun horror movies this year rather than. I think there's a few coming up. I think like Weapons and that together. You know, the more like the independent horror films, sort of the A24 vibey horror films I always feel like are the better ones once, that come out in the years, and we haven't really had any of them yet. They're up and coming.
Like last year, isn't it? Like the first half, there's one or two good films. I think that's sort of the case this year. Now all the big better ones are coming. Tom says, thanks for the questions, by the way. Actors you'd like to see star in a horror film, or a director you'd like to see attempt to make a horror movie? Now, I know this will never, ever, 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 ever happen. But Christopher Nolan did say he was interested in making a horror film. And I would love him to do Freddy just because I just know he'd make them dream sequences unbelievable.
Imagine the Hans Zimmer score.
Yeah. So I know it'll never happen, but that's like a dream sort of partnership there. Any actors I'd like to see in a horror film? I was thinking of one the other day. Actually, it's gone out my head now. What about you, Paul? You got
any? He's probably already been in a horror film, but I really like. Did you see the show Gen V, The Boys spin-off?
No, I've never even watched The Boys, mate, to be honest.
Oh, I forget his name. Let me get it up. He's probably already been in a horror film because he just seems like that sort
of... It's the guy with the sunglasses.
Oh, right, okay. So, no, so he's sort... There's an actor in it. His name's Asa German, or German with two M's. And he plays like a sort of off his nut character, like a superhero with superpowers who's sort of like deranged. He's in like a mental hospital, and he just looks like he'd fit in a slasher film. And I've just looked up, and apparently he's in the next Scream. So there you go.
Okay.
But yeah, he's cast in the next Scream film. But I really liked it. I always seem to pick up on TV show actors that I was like, oh, they'd be good in a horror film. Like you got like a lot of the Stranger Things cast. I'm like, these are all fit in contemporary horror films. The guy who played is it Vecna in the last season of Stranger Things, who ironically people who were fan casting as Freddy Krueger.
Yeah,
were saying he'd make a good Freddy Krueger, but he has probably been in horror films. So I'm always looking at these sort of like up and coming teen actors and stuff, and thinking, these would be great in big upcoming horror movies. In terms of a director, that's a tough one.
Villeneuve, maybe.
Yeah. I'd I can't think of a director off the top of my head. I get thinking of Edgar Wright, but I feel like he did it with Last Night in Soho.
Yeah.
But it would be that sort of director, you know what I mean? That's a bit more, who's come from like the independents and sort of got big through his sort of movies and then shifted gears into horror, which Edgar Wright sort of, I mean, he did Shaun of the Dead, whether you class that as a horror or a comedy. But Last Night in Soho was a straight up horror film, horror thriller, if you like. Gareth Edwards, who did Godzilla, who's doing the new Jurassic Park. I don't know if he's done a horror film, but I think he'd be good for one because he can tap into that sort of horror element. But yeah, there's probably a few, but I just can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah. It's hard sometimes on a live stream, isn't it? You named a few there, mate. It's like when you say an actor you'd like to see in a horror film, it's like when Hugh Grant started doing... he's been in 2 horror films, hasn't he? The Heretic. I'm sure he's in something else. Or maybe I'm just thinking of him in like The Gentleman and stuff where he's gone a little bit gangsterish. But yeah, in Heretic, that's a good example, I suppose. I can't really think of any actors I'd like to... Probably like a comedy actor who could maybe do some serious. Like, I love Adam Sandler when he does serious stuff. So I don't know if he fits in a horror film, but...
So somebody who I want to see in more horror films is it that Sophie Thatcher? Man, I'd watch her in anything at the moment. Like, and it's not even a looks thing. She's hot, but she's just fun. Everything I see her in. I first got onto her on that Yellow Jackets TV show. I don't know if you watched that. Yeah, she was phenomenal on that. Obviously, she's just done that Companion. She was in that Heretic. She's got a good career, man. She's like a young actress that I will watch anything she's in.
Did you watch Companion?
Loved it. Yeah, that's probably one of my favourite horrors of the year. Yeah, I loved that. I missed that at the cinema as well. That was one of the films that was on at the cinema. I didn't get time to watch it, and then by the time I got round to time, I felt like it had just come off the cinema. It felt like it was only on it for like a week or two.
Yeah.
But that was a great film.
Yeah, that was a really fun film, that one. Best horror movie cinema experience. What about you, Paul? I've got one.
I know mine straight away. I probably said this on one of your past streams. I've said this to you. Evil Dead remake from 2013. It come out a day after my friend's birthday, and it was when I was living in Liverpool with said friend. And we went out the night before, got absolutely shit-faced. Still went to the cinema to watch Evil Dead remake. I've never had such a visceral experience watching a horror film than watching the Evil Dead remake for the first time on the big screen, hanging out of my arse, mate. It made the film so much better. And I just walked out like white as a sheet, just like, what? Like, that was that's the greatest film I've ever seen.
I've never known anyone who looked like they enjoyed The Hangover so much, but when you talk about Evil Dead 2013 on the cinema.
That's the best horror movie experience I've had, is watching Evil Dead remake hanging out my arse.
It's right, mate. The best one I can think of is when we had COVID and A Quiet Place 2 was meant to come out, and then we didn't get it, and then we had to wait like a year or two. Because that was meant to come out in like 2020 or 2019. I think it came out in 2022 in the end. But we've been deprived of the cinema for a bit there, and they were slowly coming back. But I was so excited to go and see this because I really enjoyed the first. And thank you to the audience members in that, because you could hear a pin drop in that room, and it just made the experience so much better. Being back in the cinema, watching this movie that was designed really for the big screen, where, you know, when the sound hits, it hits. I just loved that. You know, it was great. Just felt like life was resuming back to normal again. And I'd say A Quiet Place Part 2. It's not like one of my favourite horror movies or anything. That experience in the cinema was awesome, I thought.
I had the same experience with the first film, the first Quiet Place. Makes me laugh though, because I bought loads of snacks to have in the film. And I literally walked out with half of it still because I couldn't eat it. And I remember, you know, the scene in the first one where Krasinski's character takes his son to the waterfall.
Yeah.
And that's just dead loud. I remember that scene. I was just like, I'm starving.
Is right. That's class. Made me laugh, that one. I think there's only a few more comments, Paul, and we'll wrap it up if you want, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Twilight Limit says, hello. Thank you, mate. Thank you for coming along. Here we go. Right. Spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I hope to see 28 years later soon. Was it good? I don't mind spoilers. Well, the thing is, Twilight Limit, there might be other people watching who haven't seen it yet and don't want it spoiled. But what I'll say is, it's my number one movie of the year. Not my number one horror movie, my number one overall movie. I just thought there was a lot to like in this. Really loved the whole seeing how the world was 28 years later. Great characters in there. Yeah, I loved it. So the ending isn't going to be for everyone, but Paul was a little bit lower on it with me, but you still liked it, didn't you?
To answer his question, was it good? Yes. Yeah. But I didn't think it was brilliant.
Well, if you want to see us talk about it, mate, if you watch the stream on replay, yeah, we've done like a good 10-15 minute segment on it before. Yeah. So here we go. I think we're both seeing this one. Have you seen Predator Killer of Killers?
Yes.
What did you think?
Loved it. I think I've got it like 4th or 5th favourite movie of the year so far. I'm a big animation guy anyway. So to see, and I'm a big comic book reader as well, and I've read a lot of Predator comics. And it felt like a Predator comic transferred into a CGI animated movie. It's not as visceral, it's not as sort of tangible and as grounded as the movies, especially the first couple. It goes out there, it's a bit more bigger and bombastic because you can do that with animation. But it expanded on the lore that I've wanted the Predator franchise to do for a long time, that the films just they didn't want to do until Prey. So everything they did with Prey in terms of just dropping a Predator in a different time period, that now seems just like the easiest thing you could have done years ago. They do it 3 times in this film in all different periods, which I just loved. I loved sort of the anthology element of it. I loved the world building, the lore building, and the ending got me excited for Predator Badlands.
Yeah, I give it 3 out of 5 on my Letterboxd. I know you liked it a bit more than me. I was knackered watching this film, man. I was. I woke up a few times and had to rewind it, and that really ruined the experience for me. But I did like it, and I really like that second story. It was like a silent story.
The samurai one.
That was awesome. I really like seeing all the different predators as well. And yeah, it's basically just Prey. What they do with Prey in 3 different timelines, which is just a concept that works, isn't it? So I really like the like. There's kind of a 4th story there as well with the. It's not just
brings it full circle,
which was interesting. The character in the first one was like that kick-ass female god or whatever she was. Yeah, I thought she was a great character as well. So yeah, it was all right. I enjoyed it. If you're a Predator fan, I think you'll enjoy it.
I think it's a nice sort of teaser to get excited for Badlands. It's sort of a nice little drop, put it straight onto streaming. Just a nice sort of like keep you going until Badlands drops.
Is Badlands going to be in the future?
Apparently so. Yes, it is. I think that's the one.
That's interesting. So we're going to see this fucking fully madly equipped Predator then, are we?
From the have you watched the trailer? Or you staying away?
I haven't watched the trailer.
No. Okay. Right. It looks like there's some interesting new toys he has to play with in it. I'm more intrigued to see, because they're 100%. They haven't come out and said it yet. They are 100% teeing up a new AVP movie. Yeah. Under the Disney Fox banner. 100%. That's what they're teeing up.
Him and Alvarez are going to make it together, aren't they? By the look of it.
Take my money, man.
I don't know if I want it, but I don't know if I want it because the last 2 AV Predator movies I didn't like that much, but it fills me with confidence with them 2 doing it. So
Trachtenberg and Alvarez make co-directing. Oh yes, oh mate, yeah, that gets me excited.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's it, Paul. Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, we've got another comment.
No, go for it.
Sorry, we've got like 3 more. Oh God,
No,
we've got about 4. Are you all right for a minute?
No, yeah, go for it, man. Yeah, it's fine.
So we've got Tom saying Fede Alvarez is the best director in horror at the moment, in my opinion. Romulus was a masterpiece, and I've never been keen on Alien before. Romulus 2 will be class. Good shout. I think he might be he's up there for me. Definitely. I've loved all 3 of the horror movies he's done. Is it Evil Dead, Romulus, and what was the other one? Don't Breathe. So yeah. Alien Romulus is my favourite horror film from the past 5 years as well, so it's hard to disagree, Tom. I'm interested to see where they will go with a new Alien film as well. What about you, Paul? You agree with that?
Oh yeah, I've gone on record and still say Evil Dead. The Evil Dead remake is still my favourite horror film. Since it released, there's been nothing to top it for me. Things have come close, but I absolutely adore that Evil Dead remake. He absolutely knocked out the park for me with that. Loved Romulus. I loved that it was your favourite film last year because...
Well, sorry, it was my favourite horror film. Sorry, I had Dune 2 first, but...
okay, yeah, so Dune 2 was the one that sort of kept it from... me it be number 1 for me because I hated the people that were shitting on that film. It wasn't perfect, so that's probably why I didn't have it as my number 1 film of the year. But I loved what he did with it. Yeah. The ending was a bit divisive at the time. I've come around on it now. I've watched that film like 4 or 5 times.
Around on it now,
yeah, it is what it is, man. I think it works in context to the film, and I do like that Fede Alvarez put his own little stamp on the franchise that no one's done before. Do you know what I mean? He wanted to put his own little spin on it, and it's just fun horror sci-fi movie. Romulus 2, I'm excited for. If they're bringing Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson back, I'm interested to see them characters again.
I've just got like this mad feeling, like I'm sure the timelines line up as well when I watch them all, that they are going to that planet where David is. Like that to me would be the ultimate fucking film to tie up the people who want that 3rd sequel to David's and this one. I'm sure the timelines sort of line up as well.
Oh, don't say that, Jordan. Don't want that, mate.
You don't want it?
No, I don't want to see him. No, I don't want to see him. Ridley Scott can go away. I mean, he birthed the bloody franchise, but I'm not a big fan of them. Alien Covenant. I'm excited for Alien Earth. A bit optimistic, but I'm excited for it. The trailers look awesome, and just getting an Alien TV show. Yeah, let's go.
That's soon as well, isn't it?
But yeah, I think it's August. I think it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But him being the best director in horror at the moment, I can't think. I agree. I couldn't disagree. I could probably think of someone better, but I can't at the moment. But he is one of my favourite horror directors by far.
I'd be very happy for him to do Elm Street. I would have no problem with that whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
anyway, you do remake them all, don't you?
Wes Anderson to direct a horror movie starring Steve Carell. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Because that's so small. I thought it said Simon Cowell.
I've only seen 3 Wes Anderson films. Now, granted, they were his later ones, which people say aren't the best. I've seen that Asteroid City. I've seen that French Dispatch. I didn't like them, but I did like the Grand Budapest Hotel. So I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Wes Anderson, but I haven't seen a lot of his films, so I can't really comment on that one. What about you, Paul?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm the same. I'm not a biggest fan of his work. He's just a filmmaker that doesn't work for me, unfortunately. I've tried watching a few of his films, and they're just not my cup of tea. But I can completely understand why others would really love him as a director. I can understand he doesn't get all these big actors in if they don't want to work with him, and he obviously puts out unique films. They just don't click with me for one reason or the other. But I would, if he was to come out and say I'm doing a horror film, I would check it out, because it could be that's the genre that he needs to tap into for me to become a fan of him as a director.
Yeah, I just don't know how his editing would work in a horror movie. I just don't know how it'd work. because a lot of his films are the same, aren't they? Like very fast moving cuts, and I just don't know. But it'd be interesting, I suppose. I would see it. Got Jamie Powell here. All right, Jamie, thanks so much for coming along, mate.
How's it going,
good
man?
evening, chaps. Hope you're both doing well. Yeah, fine, mate. Yeah, cheers, mate. And he also says, either of you seen 1 hour photo with Robin Williams? Great little film and dark performances from Robin. I have. Have you seen it, Paul?
Yeah, when it first come out, I think I've only ever watched it the one time though. That's when he's like a stalker in it.
Yeah, he's like he develops photos, doesn't he? But he starts getting obsessed with this family who keep coming to get the photo.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
He makes 2 copies of them, one for him, and he thinks he's part of the family and stuff.
Yeah, well, that that harkens back to what I think you alluded to it earlier, where you said like when a comedian actor taps in to a different sort of role, and he did that, and because you're so used to seeing him do one thing, and then to flip it on the head to do something else, always always makes you like raise an eyebrow, being like, "Oh, I didn't realize he had this in him."
Yeah. I think it's a really good film, but like you, I've only seen it the once. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Different to see Robin Williams do something like that. I think that's it, Paul, for the comments. So should we wrap it up?
Yeah, can do, man. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. There's one more. Sorry, mate.
No, it's fine.
Oh, hang on. There's 2 more. So
no, go on.
I enjoyed Final Destination Bloodlines. Yeah, we were talking about that one earlier as well. Maybe both really big fans of that. I think it's the second best in the franchise. I think the first will always be the best for me because
I agree.
Talking of films that scare you, that's the film that scared me more than fucking anything.
At the time as well, that was such a just incredible original concept.
Yeah.
At the time, when that first one came out, I was like, "Wow, this is like such a it's a bit like Nightmare on Elm Street, like such a what's the word I'm looking for? Lightning in a bottle idea."
Yeah. And I mean, it's a concept that really works as well. But that first one just like felt like something brand new, didn't it, when you were first watching it? And we got Tom saying, Fede Alvarez made Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022 too. Not the best movie, but did have. I don't think he did, Tom. You know, I'm pretty sure he never. Hang on, let's just see who directed this because I need to know. You got it in front of you there, Paul?
I'm going to get up. No, I don't think it was. I think he might have. I think his name's like as a producer, but I don't think he directed it.
David Blue Garcia.
Yeah.
But speaking of that film, I actually quite liked it.
I did, for what it was, to be fair.
Yeah.
I had a okay. I've only ever watched it the once the day it come out.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, it had some cool kills in it.
Yeah, I remember that day that came out, and I was in work, and I was so excited to go home, and it was just on Netflix, like new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, can't wait. And that night, my lad was only like 1 or something, and he fucking stayed up all night. wouldn't stop climbing on me and my wife and everything, and I couldn't really start watching it until he went to bed, and he was up to like 10:30, man. But I couldn't watch it with him climbing on me. I had to be in the zone, so I had to wait for him to go to bed dead late, and I was up all night.
Lost in.
Wrote it anyway, did he? He might have. I don't know who wrote that movie.
I don't think he wrote it either. I think he was just. I think he's just got his name as the producer on it, and I think that was a sort of like the selling point they were trying to sell it on, like from the producer of Evil Dead and Don't Breathe, just trying to put like a bit of a stamp on it.
Yeah. Can you come into work for 5 minutes and just say you're a producer, and we'll put you?
Yeah, I generally think that's what it was with that, because I remember it coming up on the trailer saying produced from the producers of Evil Dead and all this.
Yeah. Dawn says, thanks for the cracking live stream tonight. Yeah, thanks, Dawn. Thanks for getting your questions in. I love it when people put the questions in because it makes the stream flow. I mean, I could talk to Paul all day without the comments, but it gives us subject to talk about, and it's always appreciated. Always appreciated. So thanks so much for coming along. Any flat earthers here? No, I'm not a flat earther myself. Right, that's it. That's it. End of the comments. So Paul, thanks so much, mate. Sorry, I hope I didn't take too much of your time up, but hope you enjoyed
That's
it.
fine, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
same. Yeah. Always good to talk to you, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, everyone, thanks so much for coming along. Just thanks for. I can see what you put, Jamie. Shut up. Thanks for coming along. Thanks for getting all your questions in. Really enjoyed it. The open mic was for everyone who wanted to come on. We could have had 3 or 4 or 5 at the go. So if I do this again, do bear it in mind. But Paul, thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate it. I'll speak to you on Instagram or whatever. And if whatever. So I'll just end it there. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Take it easy.